Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum viewers. This is Professor Mr. Farooq, and today I'm going to start a new lecture series that is meant for the aspirants for the post of lectureship, the persons who are going to prepare for the post of lectureship in the higher education department. And you might know that advertisement for this post is expected in the near future because the posts are now appearing in the upcoming jobs on the website of Punjab Public Service Commission. This lecture series is exclusively meant for the candidates who want to be lecturers in English. In total, 130 seats are going to be advertised for the male candidates, and for the female there are 200, so 70 more for female candidates. So it is a golden opportunity to win a post in grade 17 in the higher education department of the government of Punjab. Rest assured that you can do it. This reassurance is actually the first step to your victory, to your success. If any spot of doubt appears in your mind, that is going to be the first step of your failure. So there must be no doubt. There is a theory of attraction that has attracted a lot of research from various fields. This theory says that the circumstances that we face, the results that we meet of our actions are influenced by our own thinking. I mean, in short, positive thinking attracts positive results and negative thinking attracts negative results. So keep in mind that you can do it, you will do it. Now the first question that may arise in the minds of my viewers is, who am I? Who is the speaker here? And what are his credentials? And am I qualified enough to talk about these matters? Am I qualified enough to train and guide the potential candidates for the post of lecturer in English? And simple answer to these questions is yes. I certainly am qualified enough to train the candidates. And who am I? Here is a short introduction. I have already told you my name. I am Mr. Farooq, and currently I am Assistant Professor of English in the Higher Education Department, exactly the department in which you are going to apply, in which you will be posted as lecturers in grade 17. I am in grade 18 at the moment. And why follow me for the preparation? This is exactly the question that might be echoing in your mind. I've got MPhil in Applied Linguistics, English Applied Linguistics, and I am the gold medalist of my batch of University of Lahore. Now I was selected as lecturer in 2012, right? So I have completed 8 years of my service in the government of Punjab Higher Education Department, and then in 2017 there were some posts advertised for the post of Assistant Professor of English, and apply again for that post, and I was selected. And as you can see that both selections were in the first attempts. I did not face failure in either my attempt for the lecture in English or Assistant Professor of English. And on both occasions I was among the top 30 candidates who were finally selected by the Punjab Public Service Commission, the top 30 candidates in the province. So it matters a lot, definitely, and I have got first-hand experience for attempting tests as well as interview for this post. So you can contact me either in comment section or on the Facebook link that I have shared here. On YouTube, you can comment below the lecture. You can ask anything, feel free to ask anything. And please do not forget to subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon just beside that subscription button, so that you do not miss any future lecture that I am going to upload. And you can also contact me for the post of lecturer if it appears in Federal Public Service Commission, right, in FPSC. I was a candidate in 2009 batch for FPSC. I qualified for the interview, but then I was disqualified because I was underage, right? At that moment, the age should have been between 22 to 28, and at that time I was not even 22. And after it, in 2012, I applied again for the Federal Public Service Commission. I passed the test. I was called for the interview, but before I got that call, I had been selected as a lecturer in English in Higher Education Department of Punjab. So I left that opportunity in FPSC because if I had gone there, I would have definitely been posted anywhere in Pakistan. And I wanted to be as near to my home as possible. That's why I selected to take a seat in the Higher Education Department of Punjab and not Pakistan. So again, the point is that you can ask me for anything, whether it is related to Punjab Public Service Commission or Federal Public Service Commission. So come to the point without any delay. What will be the paper format in which you will be appearing very soon, inshallah? Now the paper format, definitely it contains 100 marks and there will be multiple choice questions of 100 marks. Previously there was not any question related to general knowledge, and all questions pertain to the subject exclusively, English language and literature. And even in the previous years, there used to be hardly any question from English linguistics and grammar. There were some questions from vocabulary, but mostly the paper had questions from English literature. But now, in the last two papers in 2015 and 2017, we found that there were quite a lot of questions from English linguistics as well as English grammar. Vocabulary, definitely it is a part of English, and it is supposed that if you are masters in English, if you got masters or MPhil in English, you are quite efficient in English vocabulary. Your vocabulary is very rich, active as well as passive vocabulary. As I have already mentioned, paper will contain 100 MCQs and 100 marks will be there. But keep in mind that if you do not know the answer of any question, if you are in doubt, you must leave that question aside for the time being, right? First thing is that if you do not know the answer of any question, leave that question for the time being, not entirely, I say. This is just to save the time. For example, you are very happy, you are very glad to find that the first question that appeared in your paper is exactly after your heart, and you know that answer, and you feel very delighted to answer that. Fill that circle. There will be bubbling, you know very well about that. There will be a separate bubbling sheet in which you will fill the circle for the right choice according to you. But subsequently, if you find that next question is not exactly according to your heart, and you do not exactly know the answer to that question, leave it and move to the next question. It may very well be that the next question again delights you and you know that answer to that question. So read all the questions, and in your first round, just fill the answers about which you are 100% sure, right? Leave aside all the questions about which you have a doubt. Now count all the answers that you have filled. If they are above 50, 55, round about 60, then you do not need to fill anything. You can go for the second round and you can fill the answers for the questions about the answers of which you have comparatively little doubt. You can fill them too, but the point behind leaving the doubtful answers is that if you answer incorrectly, you will be giving away the marks from those marks that you already have earned. Keep in mind. For example, if you have answered 50 questions correctly and you answer 51st questions incorrectly, that incorrect question will take away 0.25 marks from the marks that you have already earned. Now after that incorrect attempt, your marks stand at 49.75. Keep in mind, you had already earned 50 marks, but now after an incorrect attempt, now you stand at 49.75. And keep in mind that top candidates, for example, if there are 130 seats, most probably 650 candidates are going to be called for the interview, and you need to be in the top 650 candidates. Keep in mind the competition is very hard, so keep in mind that your first round will be an immaculate, neat and clean round. Count your correct attempts. If they are above 50, you do not need to do anything else if you are dead sure about your answers, right? This is the condition, provided that there are above 50 correct attempts, and you must try to drag it up to 60 somehow. Do something to drag your score up to 60. If you score up to 60, then you will definitely be called for the interview. And I will not emphasize much on the skills and techniques for the interview, because that is a matter for our next lectures, when the test is over and when the candidates will be called for the interview. Then I will focus on that matter. And since this lecture is going to be just an introductory for this lecture series, I may leave something, I may forget something, I may definitely forget something mentioning something. That's why I told you that you can contact me on my Facebook account or even YouTube comment section. Again, come back to the format of the paper. There will be majority of the questions will be there from the area of English literature. This is definitely one thing that we are sure about. We are going to have 80 questions from these three areas: English literature, English linguistics and English grammar. 20 questions will be there from general knowledge, right? 20 questions. And out of these 80 questions, we can very well be sure that 50 questions will be there from English literature, and the rest will be there from English linguistics and English grammar. So this is the general format of our paper. Now we will try to go into the details of these areas. First of all, take into account English literature. What are the sub areas? What are the branches of English literature? What are the subfields of English literature that we are going to study? We are supposed to study for the perfect attempt for this paper, for the test. First of all, there is a history of English literature, and this is something that cannot be dispensed with, right? This is unavoidable. You must study it, and I have also recommended some books on this slide. History of English literature is very important, because in this field you will study the ages, right? And along with the ages, you will also be studying movements and tendencies. In Urdu, we'll say rujahanat, tendencies, right? Movements and tendencies in history of English literature. And you are also supposed to prepare genres of English literature, right? Poetry, drama, short story, novel. These genres are very important as far as your preparation for the test is concerned. Test is purely the test of your skills of how you attempt it and how much you know it, definitely. After genres, you can also go through the major works that you have studied. No matter from which university you have got your master's or MPhil, you must study all the works that you studied in your during your master's. Go through it, because in 2017, the last time that candidates appeared for this post of lecturer, there were some specific details which were asked in that paper, about details about the characters, about the events, situations present in the story. For example, if you have studied the Oedipus Rex by Aeschylus, not Aeschylus, Euripides. Am I right? Not at all. Oedipus Rex was written by Sophocles. neither by Euripides nor by Aeschylus. Alright, these two dramatists was also very important in as far as Greek tragedy is concerned, but Sophocles was the writer of Oedipus Rex, and this is the first major detail that can be asked in your paper. The next thing, I mean, anything can be asked about major and minor characters, and who was the father of Oedipus, who was the real father, and who was the father who brought him up, and in so on. And if you have not touched your books after the completion of your degree, then you can fall indefinitely in a pit of darkness, all of a sudden. So major works, their revision, their summaries are very important, because summaries, I say summaries because you do not have enough time to go through all the novels and the dramas by reading their text. Now time is very short, and you must read their summaries in order to acquaint yourself with the characters and situations present in those stories. Criticism is also very important. Who said what about what? This is also very important, as we know that English literature is representation and interpretation of life. Criticism is an interpretation of literature itself. So criticism is also very important. Practical criticism, literary criticism, these things are very important. Now the books, according to me, that can be very helpful for the candidates for the post of English lecturer are A Critical Study of English Literature by David Ditches. This is without any doubt the best book you can come across. Without any doubt the best book you can come across on history of English literature. But this is a very lengthy book. It internationally it is in 2 volumes, but if you purchase it from Pakistan, it has 4 volumes. But those 4 volumes are bound in one book, in the form of one book. But one thing is sure, that if you read it, you will definitely become a sort of authority on English history of English literature. It is a very thorough book, and also as a student of literature, make it your habit to read as much as possible, because reading is a sort of input for you, and as long as there is no reading, there will be no writing, there will be no speaking, nothing else. So Critical History of English Literature by David Ditches is according to me the best book you can come across on history of English literature. The next book, according to me, that can be also very important, History of English Literature by T. Singh, and it was recommended by the teachers of many colleges and universities where masters is being offered in English language and literature. And this book is a very good book, there is no doubt about it. The best thing about this book is that it is very precise, and you are given information in the form of questions, right? There are some questions, you can read the question, and then you can decide whether you should read the details, the answer, or not. But the first book that I mentioned by David Ditches, this is a book that needs some scholarly attitude, some scholarly approach. There are no headings, no questions, nothing, just non-stop text is there. And if you definitely have the courage to read it, after the completion of that book, you will find that this recommendation was definitely worth something. And if you feel that you cannot read long text, then go for the third book, An Outline History of English Literature by William Henry Hudson. You can download it easily from definitely any site. This is a very famous book, and it is very short. 200 to 300 pages maybe. This is definitely not a very long book. And if you need even a shorter book, then this is your choice, History of English Literature by Compton Rickett. This book contains hardly 120 to 130 pages, but this is also definitely, without any doubt, a great book. There is no doubt about it. Undoubtedly a great book. And if you have read T. Singh, he mentions Compton Rickett frequently. So definitely, it is a book, History of English Literature by Compton Rickett. This is definitely a book to be counted, to be definitely mentioned in any list that is to be recommended to the candidates for English literature. Now the next book, An Introduction to the Study of Literature by William Henry Hudson. This is a book that will acquaint you with genres. What is poetry? How many kinds of poetry are there? What are the technical details of poetry? What is meter? What is rhythm? And so on. Poetry, drama, novel, short story, right? What is biography, autobiography? All these things are explained in a very easy language, and I personally say that you must read this book. This book is something that cannot be left out in any preparation. Right, Penguin Dictionary of Literary Terms and Theories by J.A. Cudden. This is not to be read entirely word for word, rather this is a reference book. As you can see that this is a dictionary. It is not a book in the sense that we have mentioned the first 5 ones. It is not exactly that sort of book. It is a dictionary, it is a reference book, but whenever you come across any term in English literature while reading these books, first 5 books, any book that you select, you opt to read, you can directly go to that dictionary and read in detail about that term. For example, you do not know anything about Reformation. You come across the word structuralism, or for example reading An Introduction to the Study of Literature by William Henry Hudson, you come across the word blank verse and you are unable to differentiate between blank verse and free verse, then this is definitely a book that may come in very handy in this preparation. Now the second area that must be focused by any candidate for the post of lecturer in English is English linguistics, of course, and the best book that you can come across for the preparation of this area is The Study of Language by George Yule. If you read this book completely, you do not need anything else, rest assured about it. And the sub-fields of this field are the nature of human language, morphology, study of morphemes, right? Syntax, sentence structure, semantics, study of meanings, pragmatics, the role of context in the determination of meanings, sociolinguistics, psycholinguistics, and discourse analysis. All these areas to be focused definitely if you are studying English linguistics, and this book by George Yule, The Study of a Language, will definitely help you prepare these things. Now English grammar, definitely parts of speech. If you have done masters in English language and literature from any university, you are supposed to be efficient, you are supposed to be quite competent in English grammar, and parts of speech is the first thing that comes across, that comes into our mind when we talk about English grammar. And if you have got masters or MPhil or any other degree in English language and literature, you are also supposed to be a teacher. Anybody, anywhere can ask you anything about vocabulary and grammar, and definitely in order not to cut a sorry figure in that situation, you must be very competent in English and grammar. There is no doubt about it. There is no second opinion. There is no second thing to be said. It cannot be overemphasized, this fact, overemphasized, right? Parts of speech, first thing that must be studied in this area of English grammar, and structure analysis and of sentences and function analysis of sentences. If you do these two things, definitely you will not be a loser in any sort of test on English grammar, rest assured. And this is the gist of my about 12 to 13 years of teaching, right? How 12 to 13 years when I was lectured in English in 2012. Actually, my service started from 2012, but my teaching career started way back in 2008, right? I have experience of more than 12 years, and this is the gist of my 12 years teaching, that if you are competent enough in structural analysis and functional analysis of sentences, then you are an expert grammarian. There is no doubt about it. What is structural analysis? If you are given a sentence, you have to recognize the parts of speech, phrases, clauses. Function analysis, you have to determine the roles of those parts of speech, those words, phrases and clauses, assigning the roles of subjects, verb, objects, complements, adverbials. Assigning of these roles is called a functional analysis. Now if you are able to recognize these functions and structures, phrases, clauses, then there is no doubt that you have learned everything in English grammar. And terms definitely are also very important. For example, there might be a question about transitive verbs, intransitive verbs, finite verbs, non-finite verbs, what is abstract noun. These are terms, for example. And I have not given any book here because there are so many books in this field that we are literally confused by the selection in the matter of selection of the book. But whatever book you choose, it does not matter, but one thing does matter, and that thing is that do not buy, do not study any book that is written by any person in Pakistan, even in India. Keep in mind. Read some book that is written by some native user, that is research based. And there are some writer. There is a book that is very commonly used. It is High School Grammar and Composition by Wren and Martin. You can find it anywhere in any bookstore, no matter where you live. Right, High School Grammar and Composition by Wren and Martin, W-R-E-N, Wren and Martin. And there is another writer, Michael Swan. He is an unchallenged authority in English grammar. You can find any book by Michael Swan on English on internet and download it. The most important, of course, is Practical English Usage, Oxford Practical English Usage by Michael Swan. And also there is a book by John Eastwood, Oxford Practical English. I think it's the title almost Oxford Practical English. There are also and many other books. You can find any book, but keep in mind that do not buy or study any book that is written by any Pakistani, right? Even by myself, although I have not written any book on English grammar, but I say this just that we do not have that much competence in this language, no matter how much we study. It does not matter at all, because we have not acquired English language as our mother tongue, as our first language. And in order to be a guide and a competent teacher and instructor in English grammar, at least, it is necessary, it is compulsory that the person should be a native speaker and he knows intricacies of language to the very last thing. So this was introduction from me. Again, I have told you that there must be no doubt that you can do it, you will do it. If there is any question, any ambiguity, you can contact me through Facebook or even on the comment section, the YouTube. Take care. Allah Hafiz.